What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and today we're talking about the Zargabae Enhancements. That's right, we're going to be looking at Zargabaath, Ashe, Rasler, and Xiao? I kind of forgot how to say her name, but I hope it's Xiao. I think it was Xiao. Anyway, we're going to look at Zargabaath first. The abilities that he got in Awakened were Authority, Word of Law, Rejuvenate, and Arcadian Light. So what did Authority do before it got enhanced? Pretty much, he could put any of these weapons on, become a mastery, and get something from it. Authority is going to be able to take that and put that up higher, up to, you can see 50% on the main stat, and then adding some defensive bonuses instead of them just being offensive, which allows him to be a little bit more tanky and maybe dish out a little bit more damage when the time comes. The tankiness, the spirit, with the MP, the HP, and all that, that's what makes it really good in my opinion. I'm not really sure if I'd be using Zargabath as a damage dealer, mostly a support, but, you know, you want your supports tanky as they can be, so there's that. Now let's look at Word of Law, the next one you want to look at. So you definitely will enhance this. If you're going to be using Zargabath for longer than, like, a couple of months coming up, remember, you don't want to waste enhancement materials on people you won't be using, then yeah, you enhance this one in order to put, like, a dual wield on him and allow him to have all these stats put on him. Stats on characters are amazing. Stats on stats on stats. Alright, Word of Law. Light damage 3 times will Spirit 50% ignore to all enemies. Mitigate damage taken 20%. So, normally I would ignore this. I mean, it's a 6 times multiplier, but the damage mitigation is what you really wanted, and it was for 2 turns, so that's alright. Now let's see what they turned it into, alright? Still light damage mitigation times 3, 50%, so they didn't increase the damage roll. Again, you're not really looking at it to be a damage dealer, but we did get it up to 30% for 4 turns, which is really amazing. That is an incredible ability. 4 turns of damage mitigation with 30% on command anytime you want to cast it. Very, very good. So you would be enhancing this too if you were to enhance him. Let's look at Rejuvenate now. Let's go on over. Rejuvenate. Recover HP 100% and MP 50% to one ally. So that's alright. We really wanted that to be AoE. What did they do to change it? Recover 100% HP and 50% to one ally. Heal 1500 10 times split over 5 turns to one ally. Refresh them for 5 turns to one ally. Auto revive them for 5 turns to one ally. So they took Rejuvenate and took it to the top, baby. They made it way better. You know, you really kind of want him to be a little bit of AoE, a little bit AoE healing. You know, if he's going to be replacing your Bard, if he's going to be replacing your MP regenerator. However, you know, go ahead and cast this on somebody, and they, you know, the auto revive is huge. Let me just get that straight right now. On top of all of this being, I mean, for 5 turns, that's a long-ass time. This is an incredible ability. The auto revive makes it even better. I mean, adding another unit that has auto revive is very, very good. There are a lot of cases in this game where auto revive will save your fanny when it gets into trouble. So, again, you would be definitely increasing this if you were to enhance him. And last but not least, we have Arcadian Light. Increase attack, defense, magic, and spirit 60% for 3 turns to all allies. Increase blind, paralyzed, confused, disease 100% for 3 turns to all allies. So you would cast this. This would be his buff move, and it would stop you from taking you know, certain ailments to your team. Let's see what they did to it. Increase it by 100% for 4 turns now. So something you really need to look at here is they made it so Zargabath literally had 1,000,000 turns per ability. Instead of the, you know, being locked into the 3 turns per ability, they made it like 5 and 4 even, or 4 and then even up to 5 on the Rejuvenate there, which is incredible. And then this is now a 100% buff. So this is going to be on par with most of your bards as a base stat line. And then, you know, a little bit less than Soleil, but he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to sing for 3 turns to be able to do this or build it up like Roy, and Soleil has to keep dancing. Nah, he passed this once, and for 4 turns, this is on your people. It also added stop resist to all those resists. So we have another stop resist unit in the game. They're actually very rare, so it's amazing that he got that on top of his other buffs. So, overall, how good did they make Zargabath with these enhancements? I think they put him a step above. In most cases, you're going to want to be taking Zargabath, I think now almost over most bards. I know this sounds kind of funky and weird, but like, honestly, guys, he does like that 30% damage mitigation on command for 4 turns now. If you want to invest in him, I think he's a step above. It doesn't make your Roy or your Ramza ineffective or not usable, but I think he would be the person I'd be taking if I had the choice out of them. Now, if I would invest in the enhancement materials, if you feel like you want to go up a little bit higher, but CG Nickel, baby, still at the top, #1 supporter in the game. Zargabath didn't get that high climbing the ladder, but he still climbed very much up to being a very, very solid support unit. Looking on down, we have Ashe as the next one. Let's see, what abilities did she get awakened? Is that not added here yet? All right, not added to this part yet, so we can't read it there on the wiki. However, we can read it here. So they increased Meditate. Essentially, when you would cast Meditate, it was a magic and spirit buff 45% to everybody for 5 turns. It looks like they've increased that to a 65% for 5 turns, so it went up a little bit. Again, but this is the big one. This is the big thing to this ability. Refresh 20 MP, 0.5 times split over 5 turns to all allies. Okay, and then that's going to cost a little bit less MP. It was kind of heavy on the MP. So 42. That is huge for a unit like Ashe. Ashe was used as a unit to build up your chain and be your healer at the same time, right? She would build up the magic chain, do a little bit of magic damage, and then you would cap off the magic chain, or she could chain with someone else, and, you know, in trials and things like that. But now she has the ability to also, she has an added bonus now, not only healing, not only building the chain, she can now MP refresh as well. You're not really looking to use this ability for the magic and spirit buff unless you don't have anybody else to buff for you. I mean, I've done it before. On the robot trial, I didn't have anybody to buff my magic, so I ended up casting this to do so. However, it's mostly for that MP refresh. So I think that is one you will definitely, if you're going to be taking Ashe into places and you need that MP regen, you need somebody on our team to be doing those MP refreshes, you're going to be taking Ashe, and you're going to want to go ahead and use those support Chris into that Meditate. Moving on to our next ability. Increase attack and magic 50% when equipped with a sword, and it went all the way up to 80%, HP and MP 20% when equipped with a sword. So, overall, again, very, very good ability to be enhancing. The HP and MP 20% is amazing. Giving 30% added bonus to attack and magic is also awesome. Mostly, you're looking for the 30% to magic. But I would be on the cautious end. I don't even know if I'd be on the cautious end. If you're going to be using Ashe and you have the tech, Chris, again, this all goes into you got to be using them multiple times. You don't want to invest in a unit and then not use them a lot, or not be able to, you know, to waste your Chris. You don't want to do that. So overall, very, very good. Like, if you're going to use Ashe, yeah, go ahead and put it in there. Not really too worried about her magic damage, essentially that 30%, but that MP and HP 20% can be a big deal when it comes to survivability. So if you find your Ashe is dying, maybe dealing just a little bit, you know, just a little bit less damage than you would like, I would go and enhance that. If not, kind of leave it alone. Heaven's Fury is the ability that Ashe always uses, so I'm glad it got some changes. Magic 3 times to ignore Spirit 25% to all enemies. So not really the biggest buff in the world. I mean, 0.7%, not the biggest buff. And the healing also wasn't that big of a buff. I honestly never found myself being like, man, I wish Heaven's Fury would heal more. Like, it always did its job when I had 2 Ashes. Essentially, when I use Ashe, I'm going with 2. Unless sometimes I do use Ashe and GL Sakura and have them chained together, and maybe that's when I would need that extra healing. Again, I do believe Meditate. Okay, this Ashe enhancements. Okay, we'll go like this. Ashe is a very usable unit when it comes to magic damage dealing and chaining. If you find yourself in a situation, I would not enhance her right away. If you find yourself in a situation where she needs to be doing a little bit more damage, she needs to survive a little bit more with the HP, go ahead and spin into that Power Seeker. If you find yourself, well, oh my gosh, I can't fit all the, I got 5-man trial, or I can only use 5 units, I don't know where I'm going to get my MP from, then, you know, invest in Meditate if you can't find any other options. And then for Heaven's Fury, again, a little bit more damage, very little. And then if you need a little bit more healing, you can go with that. And then we have Rasler and Xiao. I'm not going to go over them too much, honestly, guys. There's no way, like, let's look. There's no way Rasler becomes something incredible. Increase light resist 70% for 5 turns to all allies. Hey, if you need light resist, but we have people out there can do that already without enhancements, so why don't we need that here? Chance to protect all allies from physical damage 70%, with damage mitigation 60% for 3 turns to caster. Increase defense and spirit 100% for 3 turns to caster. Hold up. Wait a minute. So he gets, okay. So this goes up to 70%. With damage mitigation 60%, and increases defense spirit 100%? What? Alright, that sounds not too bad. Alright, I like that. I like that. And then Vanguard Slasher used to be increased defense 50% when equipped with a heavy armor. It becomes increased defense spirit 30%, HP 20% when equipped with a heavy armor. Increased defense 50%, spirit 30%, HP 20% when equipped with a light armor. So they made it pretty tanky, and they gave him a pretty good, so we got 70 and 60 here. Let's go take a look at, old Warrior of Light. Because that's who you've probably invested in. And again, if you've already invested in Warrior of Light, you're not putting Rasler up. But if you have Rasler, you don't have Warrior of Light, Light is with us. What does that turn into? 75, 50 to 70. So, you're definitely not doing it if you already have Warrior of Light. If you don't have a good AoE cover tank, I guess he just became one. I guess he became a usable one. But again, I'm glad I kind of looked over that. I was about to be like, Rasler, yeah, you ain't got no room. But, you know, there are some people out there that don't have, you know, they don't have a great AoE cover tank at this point. So if you end up getting Rasler, this is a way he can become that. So these are I would not increase this. I would not do all resist light, royal obligation if you are going to use him. Again, I don't think he's as good as Warrior of Light. He's not as good as Bosch. He's not as good as Veritas of the Earth, in my opinion. You're not going to get as much use out of him. So if you're super desperate, you enhance him. But I'm glad I looked at it because, yeah, ended up being okay. All right, Xiao, what you got for me? Perfect balance. Used to be skip next turn, increase attack and defense for 40%, recover HP and MP for 3. Okay. Get rid of the skip next turn. Increase about 100%. Recover 9,000 HP split over 3 turns. Recover 90 MP. Chance to counter physical attacks 100% with physical damage 2 times for 3 turns while allies, except caster, max 3 turns. So essentially, if you use this ability, you give everybody on your team 100% counter chance, except for yourself. That could be useful when it comes to building up Limit Burst crystals or something like that. Maybe, but essentially now we have the AoE cover meta. We have the single target 100% provoke. People aren't really getting hit, and you could put counters, and most tanks have counters on them already. Unleash Chakra, Berserk, increased chance of being targeted 50% for 3 turns. All right, did they get rid of my kitty cats down here? And inflict Berserk for 3 turns. What? And mitigate damage taken 30% for 3 turns to caster. Auto revive 80% for 3 turns to caster. This seems bad. Like, this may be useful if you are looking to cheese something and be like, Unleash Chakra, come to me, provoke 50%, I'm dead, I'm back, what's up? Like, maybe you can use this. Maybe Xiao can be your tank in the robot trial. I'm just making stuff up now, trying to make her good, but hey, you know, the punch comes in, you put 50% innate draw on her already, right? You know, through the, you know, Moogle plushie, things like that. So you get 50% there. And then you go ahead and you cast this, the robot punches you in the face. Because you don't have to, like, if a robot punches you in the face, you come back to life. Maybe that'll be useful for some of you guys out there trying to do a robot trial. So overall, Ashe is very situational, but I think very, very good if you need Ashe to be that good. I think they did very good on there. Rasler turned out to be an okay, you know, mid-tier AoE cover tank. I mean, if you don't have any better options, but there are a lot of better options out there that I would talk about investing in. And again, Zargabaath rose above the rest, except for CG Nickel, who is still the top dog there. So, yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you feel about these units, and if you're going to be using any of them. If you're going to be using Xiao for the robot trial to get punched in the face. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you in the next video.